Good evening. So that is practice. Good evening. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. Nobody says bad morning, bad evening, bad afternoon, right? So these are all teachings, you see. And that shows that you want to be good, others want to be good. So it's not enough to say good morning, good evening, then keep on fighting or engaging in wrong deeds. Just as you greet others by saying good morning, good afternoon, and so on, it's important to make sure that it's really good morning, it's really good afternoon, it's really good evening. In Tibetan we say Nyimo Delik, Sien Delik, Nyime Kongya Delik. So it's not just saying you should live your life in such a way that it's really good morning, good afternoon, good evening. These are all like reminders how we should live an ethical, beneficial, helpful life. Then look at our names, we all try to get a good name. Jesus, Mary, Tenzin, Kando, Dolma, all the good names, you see. So if you get a good name, then you should try to live a life which is matching your name. So these are all reminders, these are all teachings. So anyway, so yesterday we did this line under the topic, the actual training in the bodhicitta, which are of two kind of training. One is the training in the conventional bodhicitta, and the second is the training in the ultimate bodhicitta, right? Now out of this, the first topic we are talking about is training in the conventional bodhicitta, which means bodhicitta. So training in the conventional bodhicitta. Now training in the conventional bodhicitta basically means to see the importance of bodhicitta, to see the importance of this wish to have happiness for all sentient beings, to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of sentient beings. That's extremely important. Okay? Now for that there are some obstacles. One of the main obstacles in developing bodhicitta is self-cherishing attitude. Meaning thinking just about oneself and forgetting the needs of others, ignoring the needs of others. That's the obstacle. So therefore we read this line, put all the blame lies in one. And which one is that? Self-cherishing attitude. So therefore from here it's basically talking about now all the problems, difficulties that you are experiencing is primarily rooted in self-grasping and also self-cherishing attitude, which means thinking just about yourself, completely forgetting about others. It's not saying don't think about yourself. It is saying thinking just about yourself and completely forgetting the needs of others is wrong. That's a mistake. All right? So therefore, until now, as I told you yesterday, you can see the difference. Until now, the Buddha practiced the mind cherishing the well-being of all sentient beings. The Buddha practiced bodhicitta, and we practiced self-cherishing attitude. Now you can see where is Buddha and where we are. There's the difference. That's the difference. So therefore what we need to do is now, just like the Buddha, we should try to think more about others. And that is called exchanging oneself for others. The practice of exchanging oneself for others. That means until now your focus has been just yourself. Now your focus should be more about other sentient beings than oneself. Okay? I have already given you this example how narrow-minded, egoism, self-cherishing attitude is destructive. And I have also explained to you that it is scientifically found that those people who make a lot of self-references, I, me and mine, they are susceptible to all kind of illnesses, including heart attack. Because when you just focus about yourself, the focus is very small. You develop a tunnel vision, and develop a very narrow attitude. So because of this narrow-mindedness, narrow attitude, even if you encounter a small problem, within that tunnel vision, within that small focus, even that small problem seems to be unsurmountable. Huge problem, And that you will see clearly. For example, if you are somebody who always thinking about I, me and mine, then as and when you get some problem, immediately you start complaining. Oh, I am the most unfortunate person. Even if you get a headache, oh, of all people, why I am getting this headache? You know, look, everybody is enjoying. It's just me, the miserable me, who is suffering, you know. But actually that is not true. It's not you alone. There are hundreds, thousands, millions of other people who are suffering much, much more than you. Like people living in Syria right now, look at them. Every day there is bombing, shelling, killing, missiles flying, you see. And we are almost comparing to that, we are almost like in heaven, you see. You might be getting a little bit irritation here and there, a little bit problem here and there, but comparing, you know, those situations, you are really lucky. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is, if you develop this larger perspective, then you will not get bogged down with these small, tiny personal problems. So how your mind thinks, what is your mental perspective makes a huge difference in your life. How much happiness you will experience, how much suffering you will experience is primarily in your hand. There is a Buddhist teacher, Tibetan Buddhist teacher, who said, there is nobody who will catch hold of your hand, throw you into heaven. Anybody can do that? Even the Buddha, he will not be able to do that. And likewise, there is nobody who will catch hold of your leg and throw you into hell. Even the most sworn enemy, the devil, whoever you call it, them, you know, they don't have that power to catch your leg and throw you into hell. Therefore, your happiness and your suffering is in your hand. Do not cheat yourself. There is a quotation from a Tibetan Lama. Lakwe dewachen la penge, lakwe dewachen la penge me. See, self-grasping. See, that's the result of self-cherishing attitude. Tsongkhapa, in this same book, you know, Mind Training Like the Rays of the Sun, he says, because of this too much obsession with oneself, self-grasping, even when there is a lightning, first thing that comes in your mind is the lightning will hit on my head. You see? Of all people. This is a good example, you see? You see? And if there is a rat running around, the first thing you come is, oh, the rat will, you know, bite off my ear. You can see this example, everybody says, oh, like, you see? So much like care about the self. So in many cases, taking care of oneself is good, but sometimes, you know, too much obsession. Okay? So the one that you should really blame is the self-cherishing attitude. So now try to, with the realization that how bad it is for your health, physical health, mental health. Okay? Now let us try to exchange this old way of thinking and think more about other people. What is their need? How are they faring? In what way I can help them? You know, this kind of attitude must be developed. Okay? So that's why the next line says, meditate on the great kindness of all beings. Great kindness of all sentient beings. If you think about sentient beings, the name and fame that you are earning, if you sit alone in a jungle or somewhere, there's no question of getting any name and fame. It's because you live in society, live with people, you become famous, people acknowledge you. And we talk about becoming Buddha, practice of 6 perfections, 4 ways of collecting the students, development of love, compassion. All this is possible in relation to other sentient beings. In relation to other sentient beings. Right? Because I mean, when we talk about cultivating compassion, we are saying how nice if all sentient beings are without suffering. So you are able to develop this compassion in relation to others. If there is no sentient being, how can you develop compassion? How can you develop love? So every little success, gain, benefit, knowledge, quality, name, fame that you get is in relation to other sentient beings. You don't get these things in vacuum. So therefore, see all sentient beings as very, very kind. Like even when you take your breakfast, from where this breakfast came from, how much the farmers have toiled in the farm, in sunshine, in rain, like that. Of course you will think, so what, I paid money. That's the wrong way of thinking. In that case, you should not be thankful to your parents also. And then you can say, oh, why should I be thankful? I did not ask the parents to produce me. If you think like that, yes, you can think like that. There is source of disharmony, fight, killing, destruction. In that case, why should you pay respect to this holy text? Because it has no intention to help you. It has been lying there for a long time. It's not talking, it's not giving any teaching, it's not giving you anything. But still we respect this, still we respect the image of the Buddha because we get inspiration, we get benefit. We also respect food, We respect money so much because you get certain things from it. So therefore, from more constructive, positive side, you should think about the benefit of all sentient beings. Because even if you have money, if the farmers don't cultivate the land, you will not get anything. It happens these days all the time. There's a shortage of food, and then are you going to eat money? Right? So don't think in the negative way, think in the positive way. Then you will be able to recall the kindness of all sentient beings. And particularly in this text it says, there are two fields, two objects which we must respect. One, the object of quality, which is the enlightened Buddha, which we do to some extent, we respect Buddha. But then another, if not important, not less, is the ordinary sentient beings. And there normally we completely ignore because, this is not qualified, he is not Buddha, he is not Bodhicitta. Then we make all these quick judgments without knowing anything about other people, and we tend to ignore them. Okay? Like for example, when you fall on the ground, you can get up only by taking the support of the ground. You fall on the ground, you get up by taking the support of the ground. Likewise, we fail, we make mistakes with sentient beings. So therefore we correct it in relation to the sentient beings by developing love, developing compassion, developing patience and so forth. Number one. Number two, all these teachings that the Buddha gave, all the hardships that Buddha encountered, 6 years of hardship in Bodh Gaya and so forth, and for many lives he is said to have undergone so much hardship. For whom? For sentient beings. And it's probably from the Buddha that we got this word called all mother sentient beings. So the Buddha regards all of us, including the tiniest insects, as mother sentient beings. These sentient beings seemingly very helpless, but they are very dear to him. It's like his children. Now look at us. In our ordinary relationship, if you make friendship with the parents and completely ignore the needs of the children and bully them, exploit them, how would it look? You see? So pretending that we are respecting and following the teaching of the Buddha, completely bullying, exploiting and ignoring the ordinary sentient beings is exactly like that. And if you read this text, little text by Gambupa, a beautiful text full of advices called Precious Garland, there is a quotation by him which he says, if you have very good friendship with, say, a woman, a mother, okay, very good friend, but then she has a little child, but you don't respect this child, don't love that child, and instead one day if you take a sharp knife and cut a piece of flesh from the leg of that little child and give it to the mother, who is your very close friend, and then Gambupa says, will the mother be pleased? Of course not. The mother will be horrified. Horrified. This is exactly what we do. We cheat sentient beings by doing business, whatever, earn a little bit money, by cheating, corruption, engage, all these things. Then we bring it and offer it to the Buddha. So these are cheating, not real practice. These are cheating. These are show business. show business. This is only for showing to other people. The real Buddhist practice is not a show business. And normally ordinary people, we just do the show business, not the real Dharma. That means you will find people going around the temple, supposed to be practicing Dharma. You will find people doing prostration, supposed to be practicing Dharma. It's better than nothing. It has some benefit. But the real Buddhist practice has to be done not by the body, not by the speech, but by the mind. Mind means you need to do it quietly, without being noticed by other people. And it's because of this normally that we don't do. Because you want to do something which is seen by other people. You want to display your practice. So that's why you feel comfortable going to the temple, doing some prostration, expecting that somebody will see me, doing the prostration, going around the temple. And most of when you go around the temple, you are actually having nice time. It's picnicking, you are gossiping and talking about everybody, things like that. So that, those of you who attended my, previous talks, I told you this beautiful explanation of the encounter of a monk with Domtamba. Domtamba was one of the foremost follower of Atisha and great practitioner. He was not a monk, layperson, but great practitioner. So one day there was a junior monk who was sitting in the temple and reading a holy scripture. Then Domtamba came to him and said, "It is good you are reading holy scripture, but it is better you do Dharma practice." I said, "What? Reading scripture is not Dharma practice? Maybe I'm wrong. He's a learned master. What should I do?" "Oh, go around the temple." He started circumambulating the temple. Then again he meets this master. He says, "It's good you are going around the temple, but it's better you do Dharma practice." I was dumbfounded. This also seems to be wrong. What should I do? Meditation, which is so famous these days, He goes inside the center of the temple, observes the needed posture, and nobody knows what is going in the mind, but at least looks good, So I was sitting there meditating. Again this master came and said, "It is good you are meditating, but better you do Dharma practice." He was completely lost and he said, "Great master, please tell me how to do the practice. When I was doing all this, you said it's good but better do Dharma practice. What should I do?" He said, "Give up obsession to this life. Make your mind go to Dharma. Give up clinging, obsession to this life. Renounce this life. Make your mind go to Dharma." It's not only Dharma practice, even in your study, if you make your mind go to the study, then within a relatively short time you can see the progress. But normally we do everything with half-hearted attempt, You seem to be reading a book, but your mind is in Megalorganj, Yeah? You seem to be in Dharamsala, but your mind is in New York, things like that, you see. So therefore you are not, you're physically there, but you're physically in some place, but actually you're not there. Physically in certain place doesn't mean you're actually there. The mind has to be there. And that's the problem, you see. We don't make any progress because you're not taking care of your body even. Most of the time you are not with your body. Where are you? You are with a certain object. Oh, beautiful flower, it's there. Oh, beautiful person, it is there. Oh, delicious food, it is on the food. So your mind is running after all the sensual objects. This body, which is like the house, is empty. Nobody has taken care of it. The owner is not there. It's dusty. So you can see how will you not get sick when you have not taken care of your body, when you don't know what is happening in your body, when you don't have idea what is happening in your mind. How can you learn things? How can you become healthy? Right? So therefore, as I repeatedly said yesterday, one of the fundamental teachings of the Buddha is wake up, and know yourself, and primarily know your mind, because it is your mind who is taking you in all kind of distractions, all kind of directions. Okay? So, knowing oneself. being with oneself is one of the most important practice. So therefore, meditate on the great kindness of all sentient beings. So, respecting both the Buddha and the both sentient beings, because it is in relation to sentient beings that you are able to accumulate all these wonderful practices. Okay? Right? And even in those cases where you are harmed by other sentient beings, still there also you should think that yes, right now he is harming me, but there is also a contribution from me. Why this person is harming me? Not everybody. There must be a karmic connection, you see. So if you are somebody who is able to get this bigger perspective, then whatever you are experiencing has some contribution made by yourself. So therefore it is not a good idea to always complain the wrongdoings on others. All right? Because of past lives, karma and negative emotion, you presented yourself as a target. And therefore people are saying bad things about you. Therefore people are harming you, you see. So if you don't want to suffer, if you don't want to be target of the exploitations and bullies of other people, then you practice dharma in such a way so that you don't present yourself as a target. Don't make yourself vulnerable. So that is a kind of more profound teaching. Because meditate on the kindness of all sentient beings. In my own case, I had the pleasure of going to so many places, over 30-40 countries in this world, and had the opportunity of meeting so many ordinary people from Russia, America, Lithuania, Czech Republic, Germany, France, and so forth, you see. So ordinary people are basically most of them very kind. They try their best to be nice, to be helpful, you see. Especially ordinary people, little bit less educated. The more educated, I am not so sure how good education does to you, you see. So the ordinary people, they are really open. They are not rich, they may not have much, but still they are always ready to share and be nice, So there is more to our actual nature. But when we study the wrong subject, then we forget our basic nature and talk about the secondary issues, which religion you belong to, from which country you came from. They are not able to think that these are other human beings, similar like me. That's the fundamental reality. All right? So that's why His Holiness is these days talking very much about teaching secular ethics education. Okay, which has nothing to do with cultural, differences in terms of cultural diversity, religious differences, but a universal, humanistic, secular education which is applicable to everybody. Okay, which is based on two factors. One, that all, not only human beings, all sentient beings are exactly same in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. Nobody can deny that. And second, in addition to this first factor, that we all want happiness, do not want suffering, the second factor is that not only that, but we are also all closely interconnected, interdependent. So with these 2 points, 2 factors, there is no other option but to live harmoniously, to live non-violently, to live with patience, to live with forgiveness, to live with sense of contentment. So that's what His Holiness is teaching, you see. All right? So therefore, meditate on the great kindness of all beings, including your enemy. All beings. All beings means even those people who you do not like. Now with regard to this actual training in this bodhicitta, aspiring to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, there are 2 parts of practice. The actual practice during the meditative session and the practice that you should do during the post-meditative session. Okay, now in the case of the actual meditation, there are 2 main practices: meditation on loving kindness and meditation on compassion. So therefore the next line says, practice a combination of giving and taking. Giving and taking. Practice a combination of giving and taking means when you meditate on loving kindness, you are practicing giving. How nice if all sentient beings meet with happiness. That's what you should think. You are giving by thinking that how nice if all sentient beings meet with happiness. Not only you think in this way, but you visualize and think that these people who are deprived of love, they must meet with love. Whether it's your friend, whether it's your enemy, or whether it's even the external environment. If there is any fault, any shortcoming, any discrepancy among the sentient beings or among the environment, you should imagine that you are giving love to all of them so that they are able to live in harmony, live in peace. That's what you give. That's one practice. The second practice is receiving. Receiving means practice of compassion. How nice if all these sentient beings are without suffering. That's the definition of compassion. So receiving means now you actually meditate and imagine that all the sufferings, whether it's old age, sickness, disease, any shortcomings, faults within the sentient beings of any category, and also any shortcomings in the environment, let us say pollution of water, whatever it is there. Imagine that all these shortcomings come to you, get collected and come to you, and you take all their sufferings upon yourself. Now here, one point that you need to remember is, those of you who are not familiar with this, you might get some problem here. Because you might think that, I already have so much problem, you see. Now I am collecting all these problems everywhere. So I am overwhelmed, You can't that kind of attitude. But here the teaching says that you collect all of these problems, difficulties, and heap it on the ugly head of self-cherishing attitude. Because you already said that you are going to do away with self-cherishing attitude. You want to destroy it. So this is the way to destroy it. Bring all their sufferings and problems and put it on the head of the self-cherishing attitude and think that your self-cherishing attitude is gone. You see? Of course, you will remain intact. So don't worry about that, yeah? Lembe Khorim Ranisam, the sequence of taking should be started from yourself. So when you engage in this practice of giving and receiving, and you should first start with this, in the case of this receiving, you should start with yourself, that you are receiving all these problems, difficulties. So this is basically saying that you are not only talking, but you are boldly coming forth and taking the challenge and receiving the sufferings and problems with yourself. Practice a combination of giving and taking. Lembe Khorim Ran Isam, Lembe Khorim Ran Isam, the sequence of taking should be Mare, Tungle Nimo, Detiswa, Lembe Khorim Ran Isam, Detiswa, that Dijela, Tingi Lungla Chamberja. These two should be made to ride on the breath. So that means you can actually do this practice by, doing the meditation on the breath also. Like for example, when you breathe out, you should think that you are sending all your love towards all sentient beings, the environment and so forth. And then imagine that now they all are happy. They all meeting with happiness. Okay? And when you breathe in, then as I already explained, imagine that you are breathing in the problems, difficulties of all sentient beings and the environment, and then you heap it on the self-cherishing attitude. So even in terms of your breathing, so this is a process of doing the practice more directly related to you. Okay? Oh yeah. Then next is that is the meaning. These two should be made to ride on the breath. Clear? 3 objects, 3 poisons, 3 basic virtues. So that means now this is talking about the post-meditative practice. Meditative practice, the practice that you do during the meditative session is very good, very important, but it is much more easier in one sense, because nobody is harming you anything, but you look great and you are meditating on love and sending the love, and you are meditating on compassion, bringing their suffering. It's not a big deal. The problem is during the post-meditative session. When you get up from your meditative session and mix with the people, then you meet all kinds of people, and then strange people, bullying people, exploitative people, you see, then you are in problem. You go to market, see all kinds of things to be bought, that's the problem. You go to a restaurant, see all delicious looking food, that's the problem. See? So the three poisons arise in relation to the three objects. Yusum, tuksum, gesasum. There are three objects: pleasant object, ugly or unpleasant object, neutral object. And in relation to that, the three poisons arise. Meaning, if it is pleasant object, attractive object, you develop attachment. It's an ugly object, you develop hatred, disliking. If it's a neutral object, you develop ignorance. Yusum, tuksum. So when you encounter this situation, then now during the post-meditative session, you should engage in your practice in such a way, these three poisons are turned into the three virtues. That means without attachment, without hatred, without ignorance. Transform them into the three virtues. So post-meditative, during the very purpose of engaging in meditation is really like charging the battery. Before you go to darkness, you have to charge the battery. Okay? Before you go to darkness, you don't charge battery, and then suddenly the light goes off. Then even if you have the torch, what are you going to do with the torch which is not charged, which has no battery? So before the darkness falls, before you go into darkness, you should charge the battery. So as soon as the light goes, or as soon as you go into darkness, you are able to use that charged battery. So meditative session is like charging yourself. Because when you mix with people and see all kind of things, encounter all kind of things, you are going to get problem, lot of headache. So at that time you should be able to show the impact of your practice that you have done during the meditative session, right? And I have this experience, before I was translating for His Holiness Dalai Lama, whenever there is a public teaching, I used to go to attend the teaching, I read the text carefully, then whenever he says something interesting, powerful or good advice, I immediately write down, highly moved, then I think, I should really do something now, maybe move to the mountain, whatever, Great ideas come, great inspiration come, you become very excited. How long does it last? Until to the gate of the temple. Until to the gate of the temple. That's my experience. As and when the teaching is over, and I go to the gate of the temple, and in fact go out of that gate of the temple, and join the rest of the crowd, it really looks like the crowd is saying, welcome back to the familiar world. All that so-called inspiration, impact that you thought you had, and the decision you made that you will do something doesn't last there. So powerful. The ordinary way of life thinking, is so powerful. Welcome back to the familiar world, you see. So that's the problem. So that's why it's important to do the practice repeatedly, do the meditation repeatedly, think about the meaning repeatedly, so that even if you are compelled to mix with the crowd, but the mixing will be different. Mixing will be different. Earlier, when you mix with the crowd and encounter different attractive, unattractive objects, they all become a cause and condition for developing the negative emotions. Now, with the same object, with the same relationship, probably there will be less attachment, less hatred, less ignorance. And then gradually, wherever you are, no problem. Because your mind is ready. Your mind knows what is good for you in the long run and what is not good for the long run. Your mind knows it. So that is what we need. But that takes time. It's not easy. There is no push-button enlightenment. There is no automatic enlightenment, although we are living in the automatic age. Okay? But there is no push-button enlightenment. true to the spirit of the nature, the development has to be step by step. There's no shortcut, right? So therefore we need to do it every day. Every day, a little bit of meditation in the morning, a little bit of reading, a little bit of reflection, personal reflection. What is the meaning of life? What is the source of long-lasting peace and happiness? You have to think for yourself. Then gradually you will really come back to your senses and develop the conviction what I should be doing or what I should not be doing. It takes time, but that awakening will come. So that's why this kind of text, reading such text is very, very important. A brief instruction of subsequent practice. In order to remind that in all activities stand by means of the word. So that means, that is how you should. That is how a brief instruction for subsequent practice means. That is how you should practice, as we said, how to transform the three poisons. That's a brief instruction of how you should do your practice during the subsequent stage of the meditation. And in order to remind this practice, it is also important to say things, practices, the practice that you are going to do, you should also repeat them verbally. That's why prayer is important. To remind yourself. Remember some of the big good lines and repeat them, think about them, reminding. This is a reminder. This is a reminder. The cloth itself you can buy in the market. It's a reminder to show that you are a monk. Then you wear another uniform to show that you are a soldier. Another uniform to show that you are a bearer. Why these people wear different uniforms? The purpose of this different uniform is to show what kind of job you are doing. You see? Right? It's a reminder. So it's important to remind yourself. Maybe you put something in your room to remind yourself of the practice. Maybe you put a skeleton of the Buddha. During his meditation, he became almost like a skeleton. That very famous image that came from the Swat Valley, I think. His Holiness recommended that you keep one of them, because this has a double benefit. One, you will be able to remember how much hardship the Buddha has undergone. So how come that I am unable to make even a small attempt? So it will inspire you. Second, it will also remind you about that gradually you will also become, a skeleton. That means you will die, So that's really important, really important. So keep something to remind yourself. Or maybe, as I recommended earlier, also I'm sure you have some holy scriptures in your room, in your house, wherever you are, image of the Buddha, things like that. These are reminders. Very good. Okay. Then training in the ultimate awakening mind. Temba thobne sawate shonamalam taurusam machirik beshilachi nyembonye jarang seltrol lamjingo kunshinga lasha tunsam jumechi urshis. So next is training in the ultimate awakening mind. So some of the lines under this is, when stability has been attained, impart the secret teaching. Consider all phenomena as like dreams. Examine the nature of unborn awareness. The remedy itself is released in its own place. Place the essence of path on the nature of the basis of all. In the period between sessions, be a creator of illusion. Okay. Because there's so many versions of this text, So the orders of many of these lines are different in different texts. So basically this first line, when stability has been attained, impart the secret teaching. So that means when stability is gained, that means now the next thing that you should do is you should read and study on the meaning of emptiness. Okay? Through reading, through reflection, through hearing, through study, when you gain some kind of stability of the view of emptiness, then after that, of course, you can do other practices like development of loving kindness, compassion, and so forth. But according to this text, it says, another way of explaining this, there are two ways of explaining. One way of explaining is when you attain some kind of stability, then you should undertake the practice of love, compassion, and so forth. And that normally, I think, is the process of people whose minds are not so sharp. The main point that is explained here is that when you develop some kind of stability in the practice of loving kindness, compassion, particularly bodhicitta, the conventional bodhicitta we have just finished reading, when you gain some stability, then you should listen to the secret. Secret means here ultimate bodhicitta, emptiness. Okay? Now when it comes to meditating on the ultimate bodhicitta, consider all phenomena as like dreams. I already read this few lines. So these lines, consider all phenomena as like dreams, examine the nature of unborn awareness, the remit itself is released in its own place, place the essence of the path on the nature of the basis of all. This is the practice on the ultimate bodhicitta that you during the meditative session. And as far as your training on the mind of the ultimate bodhicitta is concerned, this you should do in accordance with, of course, the teaching of the Buddha, but more so in accordance with the teaching of Nagarjuna, who has elaborated and explained clearly the meaning of ultimate bodhicitta. So what is ultimate bodhicitta? The wisdom understanding emptiness. Wisdom understanding emptiness means to understand that everything is just one's mental designation. Apart from what is being designated by the mind, there is nothing that has inherent, independent existence. So that's the secret of ultimate bodhicitta. Milam Tavars, consider all phenomena as like dreams. As like dreams means if you try to pinpoint the basis of designation, you will never be able to find it. If you search, if you are not satisfied with the conventional designation, if there is a person called John, okay, and if you try to really pinpoint who is John, you will not be able to pinpoint him. Because what you see is John's body, and even John's mind you cannot see. John's body is not John, John's mind is not John. So where is John? To ordinary mind, we think that yes, John, I saw John, I met him in Meghalorganj, things like that. But what you saw is John's body. So the so-called John, the person is designated on the assemblage of the body, mind, and so forth. So like that example, every phenomenon, every conceivable object is just a designation. If you try to pinpoint it, you will not find. So it's like a dream. They are there, but not in the way we thought. The dream that you get, can you lay your hands on the dream? They are also there. Dream is also there. They can also make impact on your life, on your mind. If it's a happy dream, you are happy. If it's a nightmare, you are frightened. So even the dreams can make impact. So similarly, what we experience while we are alive or awake can make impact, but that doesn't mean they have inherent independent existence. So they are like a dream in that sense. Like another example that I can give is, if you are a young man or young woman of say 30 years old, now during this past 30 years of your life, you experienced so much. You must have visited many countries, you've eaten I don't know how many dishes, There's hardly anything that you didn't do. You did so many things. Right? It's a long story. If you make a movie, it's 30 years movie. Right? But today, you look back and think about that. It's same like last night's dream. It's only a memory. Right? It's only a memory. So the rest of the life will also go like that. Not only that, the present life is also, if you try to pinpoint the life, it's like a dream. And the purpose of this understanding is that when you don't understand the life or the things as a dream, as an illusion, as a mirage, instead, if you think that they have inherent, independent, concrete existence, then you tend to get obsessed with it. As I already explained, with the objects that you like, you get stuck with that object. Oh, how nice, how wonderful, I must have it, you see. Last time I told this story, many of you have heard this, but I repeat some of these stories because they are so powerful. I read one book, it's actually by this Robin Sharma, Who Will Cry When You Die. So there he has one write-up where he says there is a father and a small daughter, and the father buys a car, nice car. And normally when you get a new car or something, new gadget, you get so excited. So he was very excited. At least for the first few days, you really want to, nicely protect that car. So you clean it, you take care of it. And it's like honeymoon period. Honeymoon period. It doesn't last very long. Honeymoon doesn't last very long, you see. So that's the honeymoon period with the car. So one day this little girl was scribbling something on the car. The father, because he has so much obsession, attachment with the new car, he gets angry and he pushes this little girl away, saying that, what are you doing? But the girl gets knocked down and she dies. This is a story, maybe true, maybe not true, but it's a very good story. The girl dies. And then after that, the father comes back feeling very sad because the little girl is dead, And then the only thing now he can do is to see what this little girl has written on the car. The little girl has written, Papa, I love you. It's very moving for me. It may be true, may not be true, but this is what we do normally. Out of attachment, we become blind. Then we do things like that. Because now because of too much obsession, you are at that point seeing the car as having objective, independent, inherent existence. Wow, so nice, so beautiful. Look at the look at the model, look at the makeup, You exaggerate so many things. But it doesn't last very long. Because reality, there's no such existence. Very soon you will see, oh, there's another better model, so I should not have bought this one, There's another better color car in the market, I should not have bought this, This is what we do exactly even when we order a food, you see. Until you see what is there in others' plate, As soon as you see somebody, oh, I should have ordered that one, you see. And when you see a woman or husband, oh, I should have married this one, that one, or something like that. Yeah, this happens, you see, because of obsession. Because of obsession, as I said, don't anchor your peace and happiness in objects and people. I already explained this to you, you see. So that is why it is important to see the reality as it is. Do not denigrate them, do not exaggerate them. So this is how you should see all phenomena as a dream. All phenomena. Examine the nature of unborn awareness. If you examine not only the object, which is the focus of the mind, but even if you focus on this unborn awareness, which is fully aware of the object, this mind is also in a similar situation. The mind also, like any other phenomena, doesn't have inherent independent existence. Okay? Imagine, unborn means unborn in the nature having inherent independent existence. The remedy itself is related. So normally we think if you are trying to like eliminate the afflictive emotions, okay, then the remedy, the counterforce is the positive emotion. The wisdom, understanding emptiness is the counterforce to remove ignorance. So ignorance doesn't have inherent existence. Okay, get rid of it. Yeah, get rid of it, kick it off. But what about wisdom, understanding emptiness? Because it's something positive, something good. So you might again think the wisdom, understanding emptiness has independent existence. And especially emptiness, said to be the nature of all phenomena, therefore it should be long-lasting. It should have inherent existence. That's how we think. And in the Buddhist teaching it says, if you think like this, then you have developed a view which can never be rectified. It's like medicine turned into poison. The emptiness, or realization of emptiness, which is used as a counterforce for removing afflictive emotions, but that counterforce, the remedy itself, if you see it as having inherent existence, then it's like medicine becoming a poison. Then nothing can eliminate it. For other wrong, conceptions, negative emotions, there is an antidote, which is wisdom, understanding emptiness. So emptiness in that sense is important. But if that itself is seen as having inherent existence, then there's no other remedy. So that's the meaning. Even the remedy should be released in its own place. That means its own place is having no inherent existence. Okay? Place the essence of the path on the nature of basis of all. Basis of all, that means even the path that you meditate, it should be, placed in the nature of all, which is nature of basis of all, which is emptiness. Right? So that means when you actually meditate on the path, and especially when you wholeheartedly, one-pointedly meditate on the path of emptiness, then there is no mental fabrication. There is no dualistic appearances. You just see emptiness, nothing else. And what is the process of seeing emptiness? It's like seeing the space. How do you see space? Seeing space means seeing it without having any obstruction. Space means having no obstruction. So the mere absence of obstruction in the space, seeing that space means seeing the mere absence of obstruction. So similarly, seeing emptiness means seeing the mere absence of independent inherent existence. The mere absence of inherent independent existence. Okay? And then when you get, again the problem arises, when you get up when you are meditating on emptiness, it looks nice. Okay, but when you get up from meditation and mix with people, as I already explained, then again you might get into problem. Welcome back to the familiar world, you see. You see all the attractive things, beautiful things, wonderful things, you want to have this, have that, get into problem. So now you should see that these are all creation of illusion. Having no essence, nothing, to hold on to. So that will lessen your attachment, anger, jealousy, In other words, you should now clearly understand the gap between appearance and reality. Normally, ordinary people, we go after appearances. If it is a marriage, appearance, how nice the boy looks, how nice the girl looks. Go to a shop, how nice is the package. Yeah? Right? And it's because of this innocence or stupidity of ordinary people, the things that come in the market, you see how nicely they are packed. Not because they care so much about you. Okay? But they know that you can be easily deceived by the package. Take the example of a fruit juice. The package is colorful, yellow, black, white, whatever. Inside, the real juice, believe me, may be 6 months old. It will not smell because they put something, some chemical, something, but not necessarily good. And you pay awful lot of money for all these things. I think it was last year they did an experiment in Atlanta. experiment with all the juices that is available, plus water, including water. They found water the most beneficial and healthiest. Not with those other juices and soft drinks which you pay so much money, you see. So appearances are deceptive. So another purpose of realization of emptiness is, for the rest of your life, you don't just after appearances. Appearances are deceptive, right? And especially when you go into a big mall, everything, the arrangement, everything, they made it so much that you get completely crazy in the shop. And the last time I jokingly told people that when you go to a big mall, you get sick, which is called shopping coma. You are moving, you are kind of in a coma, because they have prepared everything in such a way that they will hypnotize you. That's how people get hypnotized. First of all, the shop looks nice, then things arranged, they look nice. Then they have all these nice labels, buy two, get one free. And then first thing they do is they stack this nice, beautiful, baskets there. And the person who goes in front of you takes one basket, you see. Now when you follow that person and go into this big mall, you just can't go around without any basket. That looks, you're poor or you're, so people don't want to have that image. So even though you have not made any plan to buy anything, but without any question you will take the basket. And when having taken the basket, you are compelled to put something. And then you have this label, buy two and one free. Or buy three, two free, whatever, so many things. Then, I need only one, but one maybe for my friend. Like that. Then you keep on putting everything. And then how much money you are spending also you have no idea, because they have now introduced this plastic. If it's real money, you feel a little bit concerned. 2,000, 3,000, you count, you see. But the plastic, you have no idea. And it happens many cases, they just give the plastic, there's no money. But otherwise you give the plastic and they take 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever they take. And then you pretend that you are somebody, who can afford to buy these things, you take the basket, you put it in the car, go back home. And it's only after you reach home, you come back to your senses. That's why I'm saying shopping coma, suffering from shopping coma. You see? So then you unpick everything, and also see the bill, Then you say, oh my goodness, why the hell I bought this one? We already have one there, in the kitchen. I didn't remember, what should I do, you see? Okay, in India there is a joke. There was a very sick person. So he goes to the doctor. He is very sick and said, doctor, please give me something that will bring me back to senses. The doctor said, wait. I'll check you up thoroughly, then I'll give you a long list of medicine that you have to buy, or I will give you that long bill for my checking and giving you medicine and so forth. When you see that bill, you will come back to your senses, you see. So like that, you see. So appearances are deceptive. Don't judge by the looks. Appearance is deceptive. So that's what this emptiness is talking about. Appearance is deceptive. So not to get, entrapped and cheated by appearance, understand the reality. The reality is that there's nothing that has inherent independent existence. There's nothing really that has a, durable, long-lasting, unchanging essence. Right? Okay, there's the purpose. Transforming adversity into the path of awakening. So that is the third point. Transforming adverse circumstances into the path to enlightenment. When the environment and its inhabitants overflow with unwholesomeness, transform adverse circumstances into the path to enlightenment. Especially if you go to big cities, you see. Of course it depends upon with whom you associate and where you go, things like that, but most of the big cities, people are just for money. For money they are ready to do anything. Today, unfortunately, we are living in a world where it seems everything is for sale, including your human values. Right? So that is the meaning of when the environment and its inhabitants overflow with unwholesomeness. That means people are looking after each other. How can I get money from this one? How can I get from this one? Sir, come, madam, come, buy this, buy that, you see? इससे अच्छा आपको कहीं भी नहीं मिलेगा, यही ले लो बोलता है ना. That's what they say in the market, you know. Oh, is this good? Yes, you go up to any shop, you'll never get one better than this one, you know. So people don't hesitate in telling lie, cheating. That has become regular practice. So under such a situation, when people think about, people plan, and people think, people meditate on afflictive emotions to take advantage of other people. Okay? So when in this way we can see environment is not pure. Is a result of our wrongdoing. Water is polluted. Like today, the only probably drinkable water is the bottled water. Imagine we have reached to such a state. In Tibet, when Tibet was free, before the Chinese came, water means drinkable. Anywhere, any place in Tibet, if there is a water, people don't hesitate to drink it, it's drinkable. Now today, we have to drink from bottled water. I had once asked this question in a 5-star hotel in America. I asked, can I drink from the tap? And then this man, he said, maybe, okay, should be okay. They do like this, okay, you know. Maybe, you see. So even the water that you get in a 5-star hotel, you know, they are not sure. That's why they always place this bottled water even in the 5-star hotels, you see. So now see, look at this. We call ourselves intelligent human beings. Intelligent human beings are not even able to provide clean drinking water. We have to buy them now. So I sometimes frighten people by saying, very soon these business people, they will sell you bottled oxygen. They will say, if you don't use this oxygen, you take the regular oxygen, you will die very soon. And people are very gullible. They just listen to everybody. You see, they never have time or the energy to think for themselves. Everybody is going, so I should go. Right? So therefore, these are not like, these things should not be taken lightly. We need to think, not collude with the business people. When we unquestioned, without any question, when we continuously buy everything that comes in the market, we are actually colluding with these business people. We are also responsible. So you should use your sense of judgment, discrimination, and decide what to buy, what not to buy. Right? Apply meditation at every opportunity. So with that means so in short he's saying that whenever you see any conduct, any behavior of oneself, of others, which is alloyed with afflictive emotions and so forth, then immediately you should do this practice of giving and receiving. Immediately. That's the meaning. Telakantu gomla jor. Apply meditation immediately at every opportunity when you see the signs of people engaging in afflictive emotions, people experiencing sufferings and so forth. Okay, I think we stop here. It's time is gone.